Hey, welcome to another episode of Girl Talk. The girls are talking. I am T'Shon, so you're going to be talking with me. How are you feeling today? It's something about old school music. I'm telling you, it puts me in a zone, okay? I'm just sitting here just chilling. I don't own the rights to the music. However, I wish I did. I want to meet the Barcades. I want to meet a lot of the artists. I mean, their music is still playing years later, decades later. What does that tell you? That's good music. It puts you in a certain mindset, puts you in a certain zone. You just feeling good. Something about that back in the day. They had the type of music that made you feel good. Like I can sit back and listen to certain songs. I can tell you what I was doing, how I was feeling when this song came out. So my mother's generation, my father's generation, aunts, uncles, they had some of the best music. You have to worry about somebody talking about smacking you all the time and just totally different day. So what's up, y'all? We're gonna get into that. I am a old school music fan, but first, I gotta give my shout outs. My shout outs to the unimpressed hottie. Hey, I love you. My love Taja and my triple threat Tori. My day ones. I'm gonna name a few, so if I forget you, notice I said my day ones. They know who they are. But just in case, my day ones, my Tinas, my Shikas, my Honey, my Tanisha, my Detroit fam, my Nakia, my Larry, my Vincent, my Derek. These are my day ones. Like, we literally grew up red light, green light, red light, green light. Like, that's how we grew up. We were all cool. We were all there when all we had was each other. You don't forget that stuff. Okay? I like to give a shout out to my billionaire Beth. Always. That's like, I always encourage it. Always. Always. So I love you. My rain in the rain, my rainmaker, my tip to two girl, you name it. So it's just awesome. So how are y'all feeling today? I'm feeling quite good. To me, any day above ground is good. Also, to my friend, Queen Perspective, girl, you just don't know what an encouragement you are. I mean, she was among many. She was one of those ones, you need to record content. You need to record content. And I was like, oh, I'm a kind of a behind the scenes type girl. So here I am. So if y'all don't mind, I'm just going to let the music play to get me in that zone. I'm already in that zone because, again, I'm just sitting here listening to it. I can remember hearing this song and it's quote unquote Move Your Boogie Body by the Barcades. And it's just something about it. It reminds me of back in the day when they had those Cadillacs and those Lincolns that were so long they looked like they turned the corner three separate times. That's what that reminds me of. Like seeing the Cadillacs, Cadillac Bromes, the DeVilles, and all that back in the day. The real Lincoln Town cars. And I'm telling you, a whole family could fit in those cars comfortably. We had some road trips going from Detroit to Georgia in Grand Marquis and cars like that. Like you could literally fit a family in that car comfortably. So that it just puts me in a space where things were just so simple and innocent and pure. Even if that wasn't the case, that was our perspective. It was innocent, it was pure. Like just being grateful. You know what I mean? We were sitting there. I can remember, especially in the summers or spring, You're sitting there, the ice cream truck is coming down the street, and everybody's losing their mind over the ice cream truck, or just going something as simple as going to your cousin's house to play. Even if you didn't have a lot of friends, which I've never been that person that had a lot of friends, but I have my cousins. I have my sister. And I forgot, let me give a shout out to, she's part of my day ones. She's really kind of behind the scenes type of girl too. But my Aisha Bet, we grew up in the same house. We have the same, it's like the siblings can amaze you, although they can be different, but some things they are the same. Like they think the same. They may say the same things using different words, but they say the same things. So it just reminds me of that. We're getting in that time of year where it is spring, summer. Um, my understanding, Detroit is, I don't know what's going on with the weather in Michigan, but a little different. And sometimes it's good to go down memory lane, especially with things being the way they are. There are certain uncertainties and things going on in our very nation. But I am a firm believer, no matter who or what is running things, all of this belongs to the Lord. So, some of us say we have faith. Now is the time to put your faith in action. That being said, it just reminds me of take no thought for what you will eat, what you will drink, what you will wear. For the Lord knows that you have need of these things. But yet we have to exercise wisdom as well. And you're going to hear me talk about wisdom a lot because wisdom is really important. Let's just keep it real. Wisdom is important, you know, knowing what to do with your resources is important. Um, so this is one of the things I want to talk about. Speaking of knowing to do with your resources. So with everything that's going on in our nation and all of the back and forth with different nations around the world and the economy, and you have many people that may have been laid off from their jobs, and the uncertainties of that. When you have responsibilities and obligations that have to be taken care of. We're not talking about your wants. We're talking about certain obligations. And many people, believe it or not, live from paycheck to paycheck. So I thought about this because this is something that I have said, I've kind of thought this myself. I read a couple of articles where the manufacturers, because a lot of the items that we get, clothing, shoes, is manufactured in China. Let's just keep it real. So some of them are alleging that the $2,500 purses or bags that you spend your money on are actually, it only costs $50 to make. That being said, I'm sitting there like, I guess for someone who is just dead set on labels, or they're hung up on the brand and so on and so forth, that's got to be devastating. And I guess that's another thing, that what made us so obsessed with designers, high-end designers and their labels? Is your identity, and girls, this is just something that I want to know. Is your identity caught up in your label? Is it? Hey, I'm all for if you want a Birkin bag, Hermes, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Yves Saint Laurent, Tom Ford. If you want all of those things, fine, great. Buy what you want. But how would you feel if the purse that you spent $2,500 for, $2,500, 25, 25, 2500, 2,500, and you found out it cost $50 to make? I would feel duped. Like, you better give me my other 24.50. But that's just me. I guess what I'm saying is it that serious? Does the label make you? Just asking. Not judging, but I'm just asking. What is it? Is it a sense of accomplishment when you wear the designer labels? What is it that's so attractive? I because I guess I went through that phase when I was in my 20s, but at this age now, to me, it ain't that serious. And I said it ain't, in my opinion, not for me, because I'm gonna be T'Shon whether I have the $2,500 bag, and I'm gonna be T'Shon with the $10 bag. If that's what I want to do, if you want to go buy, great. But I just want to know for something. Why is it that important? Is it a status symbol? What is it? Hey, tell me, help me to understand. Just want to know. Just trying to understand it. And I often think if, like, sometimes when people buy these labels, what's the point in having a $2,500 bag and you can put $20 in it? And it reminds me of a long time ago, I met an attorney, and he was a very successful attorney, and his wife was a judge. So during this time, I was selling cars, and he bought a brand new car every 10 years. So this was his 10th year, and he was buying a new car, and he was giving the old car to his son. And so, he calls the dealership. I answer the phone. I get the call and started to help him with his options and so on and so forth. So when I began to help him, he's talking to me because I'm a very personable person. I was one of those sales consultants that believed when you hit that lot, I was going to meet you on the lot, because I used to think if you're not attentive or you're not on it, people will leave. They have the feeling, or they think they don't really want my business. They don't really want my money. So I'm going to go elsewhere. And I never wanted customers to feel that way. Even if they couldn't buy that particular day, you just never know. I've seen some crazy things where people have come back and got what they wanted, even if they were not qualified to buy at that time. I'm a firm believer in treating people the way I want to be treated, with dignity and respect, because those are things that you can't forget. Like, you will always remember how people made you feel. So anyway, back to what I was saying. The The gentleman, he came to the dealership. We looked at the options, had the car picked out. He was ready to buy, but I needed to deliver the car. And I did. It was myself and another sales consultant. We delivered the car. And so he started talking to me, giving me nuggets of wisdom. There was something in me that he saw that he felt that I needed to know this. Just talking to me and, showing me different things. And he lived in this area, and it's a beautiful area. Beautiful. Like, their home was grand. It was regal. And he invited me to come in. Came in the house. I mean, it was immaculate. The landscaping was immaculate. Furniture placement, design choices. It was a palace. And you know what he told me? He buys a car every 10 years. Most of the decor that was in the home, his wife made, and a lot of things were purchased from consignment shops. I was absolutely floored. I couldn't believe it. And he started teaching me something about wealth. And he taught me that most of these real millionaires, multimillionaires, they don't necessarily wear it or drive it. And he showed me in their neighborhood. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. In their driveways, there were Corollas, Camaries. He was the only one that had what I would consider a luxury brand car. Everything else was very practical. His watch, probably $100. And I said, I started thinking about that. They know who they are, so they don't have to floss in A, B, C, D, and E. Because he knew. And then sometimes you don't want everyone to know you're a millionaire. That could be dangerous. That probably comes with a whole lot of other issues in itself. So my question is, who are we trying to impress? When I discovered how much Birkin bags cost, I couldn't believe that there's a bag that goes up to $500,000. And if that's what you want to buy, I'm not knocking you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. But what if things took a sudden turn? Is there a resale value with a Birkin bag? Just asking. Even with sometimes when you see your favorite celebrities wearing certain things on the red carpet, which I really don't get into a lot of celebrities. I'm not really starstruck. A lot of times they're being asked to wear it. Doesn't mean they bought it. They wore it to promote it. It was a partnership. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If you can do it and it's not going to place you in a position of dire straits, okay. But should you do it knowing that your rent is due next month or next week or your mortgage payment? Is it that serious? What is it? Is it a certain mindset? Just wondering. We'll come back to that. So I don't know if I really want to say this because I'm not in the business of offending people. I try not to do that. I try to think before I speak. I try. Sometimes it may come up and come out, but that's something that you learn. You can't always say what you want to say just because is the right thing to say, but it may not be the right time to say it. And that's something that I think we should work on. Knowing what to say, when to say it, and timing. That being said, so I was watching with my daughter this show called Pop the Balloon. And just to let you know, I love fashion. I love fashion styling. I don't just wear an outfit, I style it. There's a difference between just wearing something that you just bought and styling. And when I say styling, it's a lot of stylists out here. They know exactly what I'm saying. Like, say, for instance, you buy a dress, buy a pantsuit. You want to make sure the accessories are right. You don't want to ever piece together a look. You want to make sure that the look is right. So you buy a dress, you want to make sure you have the right shoes. You want to make sure you have the right jewelry. You want to make sure you have the right purse. You want to make sure that your hair is styled to complement. You want everything to be in harmony, and you want everything to complement each other. You want the shoes to complement the purse to complement the dress and or suit, pants, whatever it is. Because I'm a firm believer in you can buy things that are inexpensive, or you can make it look like it's inexpensive. There is a difference. You can make it look like it's inexpensive. You do not want to do that. You don't want it to look inexpensive. And see, there's a lot that comes along with that, like patterns, materials, how they're going to hang, how they're going to fit the body. All of that makes a difference, believe it or not. We're going to do Fashion Styling Fridays with T'Shon as well. So I was watching an episode of Pop the Balloon, and I've seen this, and it was actually funny to me. And so it was a guy on there, and he had no filter. Like, he told you exactly how he felt. But then if you didn't want to know, you don't ask the question if you really don't want to know the answer. So, I'm just sitting back and I'm looking, and I'm like, is it me? And I asked my daughter, I said, is it me or does everybody just look cheap? So I go back to styling. Sometimes when you buy certain dresses, you need certain shapewear or certain undergarments. So I know that there are a lot of stores that are available. It's quite a few online shops. There's a lot of different resources to buy clothing. But I looked and I said, everybody looks so cheap. Like, is this the new normal to look cheap? I'm all with inexpensive clothing, but I'm like, not looking inexpensive. There is a difference. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are tearing him down. And I asked my daughters, I'm like, is this the new normal? Is this what we're doing now? Is this the way everybody's looking? Because it just looked terrible to me. And I'm saying it. This is T'Shon, Girl Talk with T'Shon. So sometimes before you leave the house, ask someone that you trust, ask someone who is fashion forward, ask somebody. Because let me tell you this, something that you may not know. And I know people say, well, people shouldn't judge people, but they do. If your outfit says cheap, guess what guys are going to think about you? You're cheap. Cheap has nothing to do with how much you paid for something. because there are a lot of designer, high-end luxury designer clothing that still looks cheap. That uh, pause in words I definitely needed some music right there. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going on a rant. I don't know if I'm making sense, but let's do better. There are, and I do understand sometimes people need help with their look. Sometimes, you know, the things that you think may not complement each other will work well together. I can remember when I was a kid and my mother was very fashion forward. My mother tried to teach me how to sew. My mother could design her own, whatever it is she wanted. She could design it. She got that vision for it. She could sketch it, design it. She knew what stitching, what type of material, what type of thread. She knew exactly what to do to achieve the look that she wanted. My mother was a shoe fanatic just like me, and she would take one pair of shoes and she could create about 5 different looks from that one pair of shoes. And she started teaching me that. So some women sometimes have trouble, and men have trouble putting things together. But there are people that are helping with that. I feel like every woman should look her best. Every man should look his best. Sometimes it takes a minute to develop your style. But ask somebody. But I don't know. I see a lot of, I sit back and I watch sometimes. I just sit in the parking lot of a store and I watch people coming in and out. And I'm thinking, wow, okay. Everything is not meant for everyone. But sometimes just ask somebody. You'd be surprised of the help that you may get. You may actually get the help you need. Just ask somebody. Well, I think I went on a rant long enough. I will be back because I will be talking all things fashion probably in the next couple of days. So, if you see Chris Tucker, tell me you call me. But anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in to Girl Talk. The girls are talking with me, WithT'Shon. I will see you all in a couple of days. I want to thank my followers. I don't care if it's 2, 20, 22. It doesn't matter. Thank you. So I want you to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Girl Talk. The girls are talking with WithT'Shon. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Girl Talk, girls are talking with me. Also, I am on Instagram. I think I just said that, but I'm gonna say it again. I am on Instagram. Follow me. We got some exciting things coming up. Until next time, thank you so much and may God bless you.